Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Open Studio. As always, I'm your host for today's show. My name is Danny Cambo, and yes, it is July month, the month of Nelson Mandela. As we know, it's a month of doing good because that is what we're all about for today's episode. Because my guest in studio today goes by the name of Megan. It's all about doing good. She helped people deal with stress through trauma and tension release exercises. So she's here to speak to us a little bit more about that. So if you've got any trauma, any tension, or any stress, then this show is just for you. So tune in, do not go anywhere. So Megan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you came. I can see the excitement in your face. So for those that's watching you for the first time, or hearing about you for the first time, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
So I work as a self-love coach, and a really important part of that is TRE, so trauma release exercises, or tension, stress, and trauma release exercises. That's a core part of the work that I do.
Speaking about TRE and how you got involved with it, can you just give us a bit more of insight? Has it been something that happened to you in the past, or something that you're a condition that you currently have, or why the attraction?
So I had chronic fatigue syndrome for about 5 years, and that sort of just led me on a path of wanting to heal myself, and I ended up going the route of using mind-body healing techniques, and so essentially healing myself. And that sort of just got me on this whole path of understanding how the mind and the body work together. And then I ended up sort of through that understanding more about the trauma that I had experienced, that I didn't even know I had experienced as a child growing up, and that had led me to getting ill. And then I just kind of fell into TRE. It just happened really naturally.
Wow. Yeah. And what was that you mentioned, the syndrome?
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
What is that?
Yeah. It's, chronic fatigue, so you're pretty much tired all the time. I felt like I had a constant hangover. It was horrible. You kind of just don't have energy to do anything. I mean, I would just getting out of bed, I would need to stop and rest for about 10 minutes. Just having a shower, I'd then need to go and rest again afterwards. Like just not being able to do much at all. Very debilitating. Often comes with a lot of pain as well.
Lots of pain. So how do people react to this? You know, when you've got this condition, the chronic
fatigue.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yes.
How do you react to that? How does your body react to that? You know, in a point that you have to go through trauma release exercises.
Do you mean like how do you become sick so that
that you need that kind of treatment?
So I'm going to answer what I think you're asking. So there's a study that was done a few years ago called the ACES study, ACES study, and that looked at how people who had experienced what they called adverse childhood experiences, so early childhood trauma, stress, later on in life ended up with a whole lot of chronic illnesses, and there was a whole lot of stuff that showed, they had a lower lifespan, all of that kind of stuff. And that, when I read that, I understood that my chronic fatigue that I was experiencing had come about as a result of early childhood trauma, which I had experienced, which I didn't know that I had, but we carry it in our bodies if we don't release it, and then over time your system just gets completely overwhelmed and it crashes, and it ends up having things like chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So in your opinion, where does trauma occur?
Everywhere. I know it's a bit of a controversial thing to say. So let me just quickly explain what I talk about when I say trauma. Yeah. So, we obviously think about like there's shock trauma, and we experience a lot of that, especially in a country like South Africa, violence, sexual assault, gang violence, natural disasters, all of those kinds of things, like the things which we think of as obvious trauma, are what's called shock trauma or hard trauma. And then there's also soft trauma, so things like developmental trauma, so things you experience over a lifetime, childhood trauma. It can be in utero trauma, so when you're still growing as a fetus in your mother's womb. That was where my trauma came from initially. What else? So that's developmental trauma. There's also a build-up of stress over time. So sitting in traffic every day, going to work, which stresses you out, all of those things builds up, and then your body just gets completely overwhelmed. And your body reacts in the same way to that as it does to shock trauma. Okay. So it actually sits in your body in exactly the same way. Sorry.
So how do you feel, or how does it show within a person that this person is going through trauma? Are there physical evidence, or can you tell us more about that?
There's a lot. I won't go into all of it, but essentially, as you're experiencing stress, you go into what's called the fight-flight response. So you're wanting to fight whatever danger you're experiencing or whatever you are your body is relating to as danger. So it might not actually be dangerous, but your body thinks it's dangerous. You want to fight it. You might want to run away. You might completely freeze up. So people who often get into fights, people who just like, you know, aren't able to speak up for themselves. That was me, absolutely. Yeah, feeling like anything like that, that's often a sign that somebody has experienced trauma or is in that moment being heightened. But if it happens a lot, if it's a common occurring thing and that's sort of your baseline, that's where you generally sit, then you're sitting with a lot of trauma. And it's in your nervous system. It's not like in the specific event. It's how your nervous system, which governs your whole body, is really reacting to what's happening. Yeah.
Wow, and this is sometimes becomes part of people's lives, you know, people that do not really know how to treat it or how to look after it. So how important do you think it is to educate people that have got trauma or somebody that knows somebody going through something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that education is key. For me, it's been really crucial to understand what's happening. It helped me to work through a lot of shame and blaming myself that I was carrying when I would feel like, oh, why didn't I say something? Why did I feel like there was this block in me and I just couldn't speak up for myself? Why did I actually just want to run away from that? Why did I get so scared? Why did I start a fight with that person? You know, I used to shame myself a lot for that and feel really bad, but it's helped me to understand actually this is my body's natural response to some previous situation that's occurred, which was traumatic for me, and now my body still thinks that the danger is ongoing, and so it's my automatic protection mechanism that's coming out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say it's kind of like a brain kind of thing? Something affects your brain?
It's a brain and it's a nervous system. So your brain is part of your nervous system. It's your whole autonomic nervous system, which governs your whole body, and it governs all your sort of your automatic processes. So your heart, your digestion, your breathing, all of that kind of stuff. And it's also your thought processes. So it's all connected. So when you say brain, for me, it's brain and it's nervous system. So it's your whole body that's affected. Yeah, and your whole body reacts as well.
Wow. So there's connections and messages being sent out throughout your body.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, you've experienced this, you've gone through this, you know, you've got a personal relation to trauma, so to speak. So what was the main point or the main thing that actually made you want to become a practitioner?
Well, as I said, I had chronic fatigue, and then I went into all of this stuff, and I'd started doing sort of practitioner training in other modalities. And then when I discovered TRE, before I'd even tried it, I think I looked at 1 or 2 videos on YouTube, and I just know I need to become a practitioner in this. Just knowing how powerful it is to actually go into actually healing the body, working with the body to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna take a short break. Okay, when we come back from the break, we're gonna go into more depth with regards to TRE. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Cool.
Hey guys, welcome back. If you just tuned in, you're not too late. You're watching Open Studio here on Cape Town TV. As always, I'm your host for today's show. My name is Danny Kambo, and we've got an amazing guest with us here in studio today, goes by the name of Megan. She helps people deal with stress through trauma and tension release exercises. Okay, so we spoke a little bit more about the background just before the break. Now we're going to go into more depth as to what is TRE. So if you were just tuned in and you've got any kind of tension, you've gone through any kind of trauma, then this show is for you. All right, so Megan, once again, welcome to the show, and welcome to those that just joined us. Just to continue our conversation, we spoke about your background, like I just mentioned, and what interested you in getting into TRE. All right, so just tell us, what is TRE on its own?
Okay, so I'm going to be as brief as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
So TRE, tension, stress, and trauma releasing exercises. So it's a set of exercises. It's not like aerobic exercise, it's very gentle stretches, and the aim is to fatigue or tire out the muscles all the way up your legs, deep into, I'm going to stand up and demonstrate, just show you. So we're going into this deep muscle here, which is called your psoas muscle. Okay. And it's the muscle that connects your back, your spine, to your legs. So it's a really, really crucial muscle. Okay, and when you experience any tension, stress, or trauma in that moment, this muscle contracts because it wants to protect all the soft, squishy parts in front of your body. Okay. And our natural mechanism to release that tension, to release that stress that's in the body, and as well as all the stress chemicals that are pumping through our bodies at the moment, is to shake it off. Yeah. And ideally, if we shake it off, we would go back to normal. But because we don't, it stays contracted. So what TRE does is it allows us to tire out those muscles, and then it naturally starts that shaking mechanism. Okay. And then over time, you're able to literally shake off your stress, your tension, your trauma.
Wow. Yeah. So if somebody does not do that exercise and you get that tension right about the muscle, if you can just give me that name again. Psoas muscle.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if that tension starts to build up, then what happens to the person?
So over time, I mean, obviously, like it's been connected very strongly to backache, to shoulder, neck, and jaw pain. Lower backache is often a very strong sign that your psoas is tight, and then obviously all the physical health symptoms. So, like as I mentioned earlier, with your nervous system that's being dysregulated through this process, you might have digestive issues, get sick quite often, get headaches, all of that kind of stuff.
So like when you speak about tension, there are like if you, for example, you mentioned the lower back, the lower back muscle. You mentioned that these are the common muscles that you know about, that when you got tension and you're like, oh, I'm getting pains over here and over there. So how would you say, saying that it is the different muscles that could be affected? How many exercises are there, and does all these exercises can the same exercises be used for the same muscle groups, or are there different exercises for different muscle groups?
It's not sort of wanting to go into like stretching the specific muscle group. Well, I mean it is, but it's not like exercising a muscle group. So it's a set of 6 exercises that you do, and you do them in a specific order, and you are targeting the muscles going up, and then, as I said, into that psoas.
Okay.
So it is 6 gentle stretch exercises that you do and then you lie on the floor, and then that natural shaking mechanism is activated. Yeah.
Wow. So, speaking to you and listening to you speak, I can hear you really have a passion for this, I can hear you really love doing what you are doing. So, for it, besides it being, a personal experience that you had, getting into TRE, have you done any kind of qualifications as well? And so what was the steps to achieving it?
You mean related to doing TRE?
To
Okay,
TRE,
well, obviously done TRE. I've done a whole lot of different trainings and different modalities. So neuro-linguistic programming, quantum energy coaching. I'm busy doing Gestalt counseling. And then I have a few degrees in teaching and language, which aren't directly related to this, but I feel do sort of support the whole process. Yeah.
So does that help you?
I think just the kind of knowledge, especially like from teaching and working with people, that's been really helpful just in my own process. Yeah.
So just break it up to us, what it is, that you do. You spoke about, you do the TRE, you do the counseling, I don't know if you do speaking as well, educating.
It's something I'm getting into.
Yeah. So just break it out to us. What to expect, when you are working with a person, and because everybody's got different conditions. What has your experiences been like so far?
Okay. So I mean, there's 2 parts to your question. Just in terms of working with a client, so we always start with a medical indemnity form, so we can get a sense of your history, sense of maybe where you may have experienced some tension, some stress, some trauma, what may be coming up. And then I've gotten everyone from people with like quite severe chronic illness, and because that's something that I've experienced, you tend to attract what you know. So that's something that I end up working with a lot. Just people who wanting just general stress management versus who are actually also wanting to go deeper into actually working with the deeper traumatic stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I see you bought a book with you on set today.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that book?
Okay, so this is just it's just a booklet which you can get on the TRE website if you and it's one which we give to clients, and it's got the exercises in. And it's something that, as I said, you can buy it on the website. And then you can use the exercises to do it on yourself, to do it by yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So what should we expect in this book?
That book has just got a bit of information about TRE, the sort of history of it, how it came about, what it does, and explains going into all the different muscles, what's happening when you're actually shaking on the floor. And then also, as I said, the exercises as well.
Okay. And who is the publisher?
It's just a book. David Berselli is the guy who designed TRE.
Okay.
So he put the booklet together. It's just, it's kind of just an information. I just thought I'd bring it because it is an option of what people can use if they are wanting to do the exercises on their own.
Yeah.
I do have a disclaimer there. Can I talk about that? Okay, so just there are a few. So doing TRE on your own is really great if you're interested in just having like a sort of a superficial stress management tool. there are quite a few contraindications for people. So people who shouldn't be doing TRE. So if you're pregnant, for example, if you've experienced surgery in the last 3 months, if you've had an accident in the last 3 months, if you have been diagnosed with a serious mental illness, so something like bipolar or borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, that kind of stuff. If you are really wanting to do TRE with those things, then really talk to your psychiatrist and get, it's really about a collaboration between your psychiatrist and the TRE provider. And then also if you're currently sick, so if you've got flu or a cold, something like that, you don't want to take energy away from your immune system. So those are just like, don't do TRE, or really talk to somebody if that's something that you are experiencing at the moment. There's also a few books that David Baselli's written that's got the exercises in if you are wanting to try it alone.
So we're going to take another short break quickly. When we come back, we're going to discuss more into more details about the difference between you just mentioned about. We'll get back into that. Guys, do not go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to continue that conversation with Megan on trauma and tension release exercises. So stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back to it. We're almost at the end of the show, guys, but it's never too late to learn something new, because joining me in studio today is a lovely lady who goes by the name of Megan. She helps people deal with stress through tension and trauma release exercises. And yes, just to continue our conversation, for those that missed it, we spoke about the different exercises that can be done, where the tension is found, and also a bit of background into yourself and what led you to become a practitioner, TRE practitioner. So just to get it clear, you mentioned that people that should not do TRE are those that are pregnant, you've got the flu. Can you just give us
So if you're pregnant, if you're currently sick, if you've had surgery or an accident in the last 3 months, or if you've been diagnosed with a serious mental illness.
Okay, so those, whoever's got that should not do TRE.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, then just talk to someone, talk to a TRE provider, and you can go from there.
Okay, so, TRE, like you mentioned, is a muscle relaxation exercise, so to speak. So if pregnant women shouldn't be doing it, then I'm guessing it's not yoga. It should not be compared as yoga. And it's not the exercises, it's the shaking mechanism, because it's something that your body isn't used to, and we just don't want to, we don't know what could potentially happen with the pregnancy. Yes, ma'am. So can you give us any names of any exercises that you know of that's relating to TRE? Do you mean like physical exercise, or any just stress release? Well, physical exercise. Well, I mean, in terms of like relating to TRE, so it would be anything that contributes to regulating your nervous system, so calming down your nervous system and helping to release that tension, that stress, that trauma. So in that sense, yes, yoga is something that you could do, but it's not TRE, it's a different thing. But in terms of nervous system regulation and health, then yoga is really good, especially soft, gentle yoga. Meditation, there's a whole lot of stuff, So I know during TRE, you people shake, so to speak. You shake, when the muscle is relaxing. So is this a controlled kind of shaking? Or do you know what you're doing, or is your body just going crazy? Neither. I wouldn't say your body's going crazy. Okay, it is your body that's doing the shaking. It's not you. But one of the first things we teach you is for you to be able to stop that shaking mechanism and to slow it down if you need to. So yes, it's your body doing the shaking, but you are able to stop it at any point, and you are able to regulate yourself, which is crucial to the process. Okay, so does somebody have to be there with you when you do these exercises? Well, as I said, ideally having a practitioner there to have the support, because my nervous system is really grounded from having gone through my training, and my nervous system will then support your nervous system to go deeper and to really heal. And to obviously then I can teach you to do the exercises to regulate and to regulate your process, be comfortable with your process. So that is ideally, if you've got a practitioner with you. Okay, but then some people do this in group sessions and so forth. What are the benefits of doing it in a big group rather than just being you and the practitioner? So in a group, you obviously also have a practitioner. So again, you've got that practitioner's nervous system supporting you. With a group, you also have the energy of the group. There's just something quite magical about working in a group and having everybody's energies moving. You can see that, oh look, my body might be doing what feels like a bit of a strange movement, but oh look, that person is also doing the same movement, so actually it's okay, we're all the same. You can also support each other through your processes. Motivation, it's a really great space to be in a group process. And speaking about shaking, It's usually associated with what stereotypically known as somebody that is shaking, is weak and scared. Like you see, you get the dog with the tail behind his legs shaking, you know.
Yeah.
So how harmful is this kind of thinking, you know, for somebody that has got these conditions, you know, to actually want to come out and say, I need help?
Okay, I'm not a doctor at all. I don't have any medical training whatsoever, so I'm putting that out there.
Yeah.
I think what I've learned is that shaking, if our body is just naturally starting to shake and we're not sure why, it's often, not always, often a sign that our nervous system is trying to release the stored up trauma in our bodies. And then TRE can assist in helping to release that in the process. And I think in that moment, understanding that it's our body's natural way of releasing tension and stress is to shake, and allowing that to happen so that you can then come back to a space of being homeostasis, grounded, calm.
Wow. So is there any stress management exercises that somebody can do, you know, when you get stress at work, at home, you know, that you want to tell us about?
Well, if you have done TRE, then you can obviously use the shaking. I've done TRE in bathrooms, in an airplane bathroom once, very useful. So yeah, it's really, you can really do it wherever you need to. So that's TRE, obviously. But things like yoga, meditation, breathing is crucial. There's a really beautiful breathing technique where you imagine that your heart's breathing and you breathe in for 5 counts and out for 5 counts. And that just brings your nervous system right down and really calms you down.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff to
Just one more that. You said you did TLC where?
TRE.
Yeah.
Where I did it, you mean where I trained?
No, like you just mentioned now you did it.
I've done TRE in an airplane bathroom, yes, yeah. I once you get used to it, you're able to, like, you can do it standing up and stuff, yeah.
Okay, so
I wouldn't recommend that initially, but it is, yeah.
So where do you do your practices currently?
I work from Kenilworth,
Okay.
so that's where I'm based.
Yeah, and how has your clientele, so to speak, how has your clientele been? How has has there been any improvement? What are the reviews been like, you know, from the people you've helped so far?
Yeah, I mean, people just, like, you know, just really notice just feeling so much calmer and so much more grounded and just able to manage life a lot more easily. It's just a sense of just resilience to the world, and noticing how their relationships are improving and how they're experiencing less stress with the people around them as well, which I think is so important and so crucial,
Okay.
And sleeping better, that's a very big one. Yeah.
Wow. So for those that want to get a hold of you, or just to learn more about this, where can they do that?
Well, they can go onto my website, which is www.meganmoll.com. That's MEGANMOLL. There's also the TRE for Africa website, which is the sort of the NGO for Africa. So it's www.treforafrica.com. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. So what should we expect when we go into the website? Is there any tricks and tips on how to do these things? Or just said basic contact, you know, ask question, answers, and
there's information about TRE, how it helps you, all of that kind of stuff. And then, so on my website, for example, I've put a few informative videos on there. But it won't tell you how to do TRE because, as I said, it is a lot, you know, it's really crucial that you do work with a practitioner. If you do want to try it at home, then do it on your own. And really, it is just very gentle stress management.
Okay.
It's not anything deeper, but ideally you work with a practitioner. So,
wow. So just briefly, before we end up, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh my word, this question. I think doing TRE, I mean, we're really looking to expand TRE throughout Africa and get it into communities and do what we're calling agency-based training. And I'd really like to get involved in that and really,
Wow, and there you have it, viewers. There you have it. So if you've got any kind of tension, any kind of worries, any kind of stress at home or at work, this is just for you. Go search, get her out there now on our social media platforms and get connected with her and see how she can help you as well. So for now, we're saying goodbye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us today, Megan. Guys, till next time, bye-bye.